Hello beautiful people and welcome back to my channel. Okay, I am so excited to be sitting down and filming. I feel like it's been forever since I've sat down and filmed. This week has been a rough one for me. My anxiety has been playing me. It has been off the charts. I have been feeling so unproductive, but I woke up this morning and I said, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I'm gonna be productive. And I pushed myself. And here I am sitting down to film this video for you guys. So this is the second episode in my Makeup 101 series. And today we are going to be diving into all things highlighting and contouring. Highlighting and contouring has been a huge trend in the makeup industry for forever. And there have been so many different tips, tricks, techniques, all different things that you can kind of do. But if you are either new to contouring and highlighting or feel like you quite haven't mastered it yet, go ahead and keep watching this video because I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks and how I contour and highlight my face on the daily. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. I just want to say that the other day I spilled an entire bottle of red glitter everywhere when I was doing a makeup look. So if I somehow get red glitter on my face, I am sorry. It is not my fault. I can't control it. It is what it is. Okay, so highlighting and contouring. I feel like when it comes to makeup, this is the most transformative part of makeup is actually highlighting and contouring, getting to sculpt your face, chisel it, and get it to look the way that you want it to look. And there's so many different tips, techniques, things that you can do to highlight and contour your face, but I'm going to show you my basics, like what I do on a normal day and just kind of break it down in a very simple manner for you guys to understand because I know it can be tricky and I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks on how to avoid it looking muddy or cakey or just not looking right and how to actually chisel your face and make it look snatched. I've done a video similar to this in the sense that I talked about highlighting and contouring, and that is when I did Scott Barnes's highlighting and contouring techniques. Like I said before, there are so many different techniques out there. So if you'd like to see that video, I will link it somewhere up here for you to watch. That is a little bit more of an in-depth process. It turns out beautiful in the end. It's still one of my favorite ways to contour, but it is not like a realistic everyday kind of contour, you know? That's like more so when you have like a special occasion or you want to look extra snatched, stuff like that. Maybe you have like a photo shoot or event. But I'm gonna show you like my everyday contouring 101s, basic, simple. Okay, you guys get the point. I'm gonna stop rambling. So first for me, I always start off with my skin. So I'm just going to prime and apply my foundation. So for primer, I'm going to use the Farsali Skin Tune. And then for foundation today, I'm using the Infallible Fresh Wear foundation. All right, so I'm just going to be applying this foundation with a little beauty sponge. This foundation is about a medium coverage. For me personally, y'all know, I like to have a fuller coverage foundation, but you guys can go in with whatever foundation that you like to use. This part doesn't necessarily matter for the concept of highlighting and contouring, just whatever you feel comfortable in and what foundation you like to use. But y'all know mama likes to cake it up, so that is what we are going to do. Okay, so when you have your foundation all laid and you have your blank canvas ready to go, we are going to go into the first step, which is highlighting. And the way I like to highlight is by using concealers. This is the easiest way to highlight in my opinion, and probably the most common that you'll see. When choosing your concealer color, you want to go significantly lighter than your foundation shade and your actual skin tone shade. As you can see right here, this concealer is much lighter than my actual skin, which is exactly what we want. We all know that contouring and highlighting is basically just creating an illusion on your face. So what highlighting does specifically is it lightens, brightens, and lifts up your face in certain areas so that way you can look more chiseled, more snatched, brighter, more awake, whatever you want to do. That is kind of the premise of highlighting. So when you look at the face, typically you want the center part of your face to come forward while other parts of your face are going to kind of sink backwards and sink in, creating shadows, but we'll get to that in a second. So we are going to be going in with concealer. This is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. This is their new one. I haven't tried this yet, but I'm going to place this on areas like under my eyes because I want those to be brighter and kind of lifted up from my face to give a more awake, feminine, overall snatched look. We don't need any darkness under here. And then I will also place the same concealer right in the center of my forehead because again, we want that to kind of come forward a little bit. I will do this right down the center of my nose my cupid's bow, and my chin. And then I'm just going to tap that all in using my beauty sponge. I like to leave my nose for last, that way the concealer dries a little bit and it's more of a straight line. Now, the reason that I'm not going to contour my nose in this video is because nose contouring is still A, a technique that I'm perfecting myself, and B, is a very personal technique, and you can do it in so many different ways. And I honestly don't contour my nose that much, but just doing a simple highlighting line down the middle of your nose will definitely bring it out a little bit more, make it seem a little bit more pinched, and we'll get into a baking technique that will help that as well. So I'm just using a light tapping motion to blend this all in. And as I'm blending this out, you guys can already see my face starting to come to life. It's already bringing dimension back into the face, and it's definitely making me look very awake and alive. For my nose, what I'll do is just squeeze my beauty sponge just like this and lightly tap down my nose. Okay, now that we have our concealer all blended in and ready to go, it's time to set our face. Now, what I personally like to do is slightly bake my face, and when I am setting the highlighted portions of my face, so aka where we've put the concealer, I like to use a lighter shade powder. So as you guys can see, this is not a translucent powder. This powder actually has tint or color to it, and it is a very light shade. This will go ahead and further brighten up our face, highlighting it, bringing it more forward, making it look more snatched. This one is one of my favorites. You guys have seen me talk about this a lot. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder, and this is in the lightest shade, which is Fair. Okay, so I'm going to use the same sponge that we've been using and dip into that powder. And again, I'm only going to use this powder on where we have put our concealer. I'm not going to set my entire face with it because that would basically lose the whole purpose of highlighting and contouring, because I'm setting my face in all the same colors. So I'm just going to apply this under my eyes. Boom, you can see the difference. This is the set eye versus the non-set eye. This one is much brighter. And then placing this on my chin. I like to go down my smile lines for this as well. And then I will set my forehead in this powder. Just the center where we've placed the concealer. All right, now that we have the highlighted areas of our face all set, I'm going to set the rest of my face. I'm just using the Laura Mercier. This is the Glow Setting Powder, and I'm just going to set basically all the areas of my face that we didn't set already with the lighter powder. So that's basically my jawline cheek area. And you can set your face with whatever powder preference you have. You can not set it if you want to. It's totally up to you and your preferences. All right, now that our face is all set and we basically have step one of our canvas complete, which is basic highlighting, bringing those parts of the face forward that we want to bring forward, we are going to go in and contour and deepen in those shadows to create the full illusion. Now, like I said before, there are many different ways that you can contour. People use cream contouring or powder contouring, or sometimes a combination of both. Like I said earlier, there is a video where I did a different technique that is cream contouring. If you'd like to see that, again, I'll have it linked down below. But for this video, I want to show you guys my daily routine, and that is powder contouring. I don't typically cream contouring or any of that when I'm just doing my normal face routine. I just stick to powders. It works for me. You can do whatever works best for you, but I'm going to show you the basic tips and tricks on how to make your cheeks and your whole face look snatched, because this is the part that like really starts to come together. Ooh, it's so good. Okay, so what I like to use, this is the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I have just popped out the pans and put them in a personal little Z palette that I travel with. It's just much easier for me that way. That way I don't have to bring like the whole palette with me. But this is the medium shade and lightest shade, and then the lightest highlighting shade that they have in the palette. So the only ones that I don't have are like the deeper shades. These are just the shades that I use, as you can see, quite often. So when it comes to contour brushes, there are a couple that I go back and forth with, and I want to show you my favorite two. And for me personally, I'll kind of go back and forth with these brushes for both contouring and bronzing, which we'll get to in a second, but I just want to show them to you. First up is probably my favorite. This is the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill JH05. It's a very small, precise brush, and it allows you to really get in there and chisel out your cheeks. And then I also really like the Morphe M523 brush. Again, it's kind of like a mini bronzing brush, which is what I like. I like to have a little bit more control when it comes to my contouring because I feel like I have a smaller face. This would be considered like a typical bronzing brush. It's a lot bigger, which don't get me wrong, I love to use as well. It just kind of depends what I'm looking for and what I'm in the mood for, but I definitely feel like I have more control with a brush like this. As you can see, it's really just like a smaller version, more condensed of the bigger bronzing brush. But for today, I'm gonna be using this brush. And what I'm going to do is start off with this shade right here. And this is the lightest and coolest shade in the contour kit. When it comes to picking out your contour, you do not want to go for a warm toned color like a bronzer. Here, I'll show you an example. So something like this would not be good for contouring because it's going to make your cheeks look very, very muddy, and it's not going to give you the illusion that you want. Think of contouring as if you're drawing shadows on your face. So when you're drawing shadows on a portrait, let's say you're drawing or painting something, you're not going to use a warm tone color to create a shadow because that's not what a shadow looks like. A shadow is a very cool toned color. So we are going to use this, and we're going to use it very sparingly. Little goes a long way. And when it comes to the outline of your contour, you can kind of almost see like naturally where I create a shadow. Basically, the rule of thumb is if you place your brush at the top of your ear and down to your mouth, that's the line that you want to follow when it comes to your contouring. You do not want to contour down below here. Okay, I'm going to repeat that again. You do not want to contour anywhere down below in this area. So on your jawline, kind of in this region, because that is what's going to give you an illusion of a wider face, and it's going to look very muddy, and it's not really going to look good. Okay, let's just be honest, it never looks good. You want to keep it in this area only. I do not bring mine all the way to my mouth because then that's going to make you look like a clown. I like to keep it right in this area right here, and I will slowly start to build it up. The thing with contour is, and I struggle with this too, is it can be taken too far very easily. So you want to start with small amounts. You can always build up. Again, think of it as if you're creating shadows on your face. You don't want to just create like a straight, dark, sharp line. That's not going to look natural. You want your face to, like, when someone looks at you, just be like, oh my God, she is so snatched. Like, look at her jawline, look at her nose, look at her forehead. Like, you want it to look natural. That is the whole point, even though there is nothing natural about this. So I'm just going to take this and slowly start to apply this to that area. So as you can see already, we're starting to get more of that shadow going on. So this side versus this side, you can see the shadow. And I just like to really lightly kind of buff this in, and you want to make sure you're bringing it all the way back into your hairline. Again, you want to make this look like a natural shadow, like your cheekbones are sticking out. Again, why we highlighted this portion of our face, because it's as if it's creating the illusion of your cheekbone sticking out more. So with this, I like to go very soft with it because I will go with bronzer over top of it to warm everything up. So that's pretty much where I'll stop. And as you guys can see, I really haven't used any product. I've mainly just been buffing out the product that's on my skin. If you're having trouble finding the area that you're supposed to contour, another trick to doing that is to make a fish face like this, kind of like suck in your cheekbones, and kind of right where that hollow sits, that is where you want to contour. And then I will use the same brush and a little bit of that shade and bring that up onto my forehead. This is going to bring our forehead down. So if you are someone that is insecure about your forehead, feels like you have a big forehead, and that's just something that you don't like, this is a great trick to bring that lower. So as you guys can see, this has contour, this does not. You can really see it just kind of shrinking down on this side. For me personally, I only like to do the sides of my forehead. I don't really bring it up here, because I don't have a huge forehead, and I feel like if I bring it up here, it makes my face look really short this way. So I like to keep the whole center of my forehead really bright and open. And then I will go ahead and contour underneath on my jawline. This gives the illusion of a much sharper jawline, and it kind of like sucks in your neck a little bit, which who doesn't love that? So I'll just take a little bit of that and bring it right along my jawline. So as you can see, whoo, she is chiseled, kind of just flat and bland. And again, I only keep this on the sides. I will not bring it underneath my chin here, because again, I feel like it makes my face look short this way, and I want to keep everything elongated this way and just kind of bringing everything into the center of the face. So another trick that you may have heard when it comes to contouring is the 3 rule. And that is when you're drawing on your contour, you want it to make a 3. So it comes here and here. So the only thing with that is that it's not here and here, because we want to avoid contour in this area at all costs. We want to keep this area like right where your ear sits all the way to your mouth, clean and bright. And we're gonna go over a baking technique for that in a second. So when you're thinking of the 3 technique, you wanna bring it along the sides of your forehead, into that hollow of your cheek, and then under your jawline. So kind of creating a 3 shape. Okay, so now we're going to move on to bronzing. So basically the difference between bronzing and contouring is basically creating a deeper shadow of your face. It's sculpting your face more. Bronzing is a technique that is used to kind of give you like a tan or sun-kissed look and to kind of bring some more life and color back into your face. So I bronze very sparingly. So I'm going to use that other brush. This is again the M523, and I'm going to dip into this bronzer. This is a Morphe bronzer, by the way. This is the Glamour Bronze bronzer in Megastar. And I take very small amounts of this and very lightly. I don't go over the entire contour. Again, I kind of leave the bottom half. I want to keep that line really chiseled. I'll just kind of lightly go over all those areas, just bringing a little bit more warmth back to my face. And for all of this, I'm using very controlled brushes and very controlled motions. So just sweeping and circular motions just to really place the product where I want it and not going crazy. Because if I'm going in and just like scrubbing my face and going crazy, that's when it's going to go below the desired area that I want, and that's when it's gonna look muddy and start to like give my face really not any shape. It's kind of just like you have a chunk of bronzer or brown or color here. Again, you wanna keep this area really, really clean. That's gonna help chisel in your cheeks and make it look like you have a very snatched face. How many times can I say snatch during this video? Okay, I am going to quickly show you what I would do if I choose to contour my nose. Like I said, this is typically not something that I do, but I figured it's really simple and easy the way that I do it, so I'm gonna show you. I take this little brush. This is a Morphe E62. I dip into that same contour shade that we were using, and I just really, really lightly, starting from my eyebrow, kind of chisel out and draw a line down my nose. Just really softly. Again, this is not a technique that I'm used to doing because I really don't touch my nose because I don't like it. And I feel like every time I contour it, it just kind of looks weird. But if you are someone that wants to learn how to do it more, then this is the basics of what I know. I'm basically just creating two lines on my nose, and once you start from your eyebrow, you can bring it in as much as you want to make your nose look as pinched as you want to. But yeah, that is basically what I would do to contour my nose. Okay, moving on. All right, next step for me is baking. Now this is a crucial thing for me. I cannot do my makeup without baking because I really feel like it transforms the face completely. Say you've got a little bit of bronzer in this area and this line isn't as clean as you want it. Say you want to snatch your nose even further. Say you want to brighten up your eyes more or your forehead or whatever it may be. Baking is the way to go, people. Okay, so we are gonna use that same loose powder that we were using. Again, this is not a translucent powder. This is a powder that has color to it. So the whole purpose of me using this is because I want to lighten up the areas that I'm going to place this powder. So what I will do is I always clean up my contour. I just feel like my face looks more put together, clean, chiseled, and it kind of just brightens up this area because contour and bronzer can get in this area very easily just from it floating around in the air, or you move your brush in the wrong way, or whatever it may be. And then I'll kind of bring this over into the chin. So again, now you can really see that line that I was talking about from the corner of your ear all the way down to your mouth. And you can create whatever kind of shape you want. Sometimes I will round this out a little bit and kind of make my cheeks look a little like plumper in that area, but sometimes I will keep it straight like that. And I really just apply this powder generously all to this area. You really want to make sure you're keeping the line straight and it's even on both sides. That way one side's not looking wonky. And then I will also go in and bake the sides of my nose. So basically what I will do is along the sides where I've placed the contour. So as you can see, I've placed the contour basically on the side of my nose. So starting from my, oops, sorry, this is really hard to show. Starting from my eyebrow kind of down against my nose, I'm going to put powder all along that line right up next to it so we can brighten and lift this area. So just like that. Again, we are not covering any of the contouring. We are just enhancing kind of the highlights that we've placed before and cleaning up the contouring that we've done. Okay, so for me, this is all the baking that I do. If you are someone that has oily skin, or if you want to bake other areas of your face, like under your eyes or your forehead or things like that, by all means go ahead, but I have very dry skin, so if I were to bake my under eyes, they would look god awful. I would look like a T-Rex not good at all. So I'm just gonna leave those areas as they are and move on to the next steps in my routine. Yes, you are going to let this sit on your face for quite some time. Let the powder do its work. Let it really set so that way when we wipe it off later, you have a very bright, clean look. I know it looks a little crazy right now. I promise it's not gonna look this harsh or this bright by any means, but I'm going to move on and do the rest of my face. I'm going to do my brows and my eyes off of camera, and then we will come back and finish the rest of the look. Alrighty, that is eyeshadow all complete.
Look at me with this gold on my lid. Who am I? Who do I think I am?
I never do gold, but here we are. Kind of digging it. Okay, moving on. This bake has now been sitting on our face for probably longer than I'm willing to admit. I was just sitting here jamming to some music and doing my eyeshadow and not really paying attention to time. So this has been sitting on here for quite some time, which is what we want. We want it to have its full effect, its full power. So now it is time to wipe it away. So I'm just using a little soft brush, and I'm just going to gently flick off all of the excess powder, leaving... Look how snatched. And then for my cheeks, I will just slowly wipe it away. I try not to get too crazy and just automatically go in and wipe it all off, because you still want to keep that line that we've created. So I just kind of go in small circular motions and then kind of go back and forth right along that line to get all the excess powder off. And you can see how clean and sharp it leaves us. Ooh, girl. All right, now you can really see all of the dimension in my face right now. You can see the shadows we've created. You can see the highlights kind of coming forward that we've created. And now it is time to finish off the look with blush and then actual highlight. So I'm just going to dip into a little bit of blush, and I kind of like to melt this in with my contour. And now actual highlight, I'm gonna go in with my Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics Flash palette. It's literally the only highlight I've been using lately. I'm obsessed. I'm actually gonna use the shade Sparks today, which is what I have on my inner corner and my brow bone. And I like to put this on my cheeks just because I feel like it makes them, again, come forward. This is just another form of highlighting in a sense. Obviously, this is highlight. We know what this is, the sparkly, glittery, beautiful stuff, but it does have a purpose in creating the illusion. So as you can see, this cheek looks a lot more plump and fuller, and we also have that radiant glow going on. And then I basically just highlight all the areas that we initially highlighted, but with this time a little bit more precision, since we are working with a kind of glittery product that can emphasize texture and things like that. And then for my nose, I will use a small little bullet brush just like this, and I will very precisely highlight the areas that I want to. Again, just to keep the illusion all intact, because if you were to go in and just rub highlight all over, it would totally ruin the contour and the illusion that we have created on our snatched nose. And now I'm just going to quickly pop on a lip. By the way, this lip color is a NARS. That literally just poured out like water. I've never had that happen with a liquid lip before. That is a very watery formula. Oh my God. NARS might want to work on your packaging. And voila, just like that, your face is now snatched, chiseled, and ready to go. As you can see, there's so much dimension in our face. It really just emphasizes your face and brings a lot more life and structure. And also, these are tools that you can manipulate if you wanted to go for a different type of face shape. If you didn't like the way your cheeks were shaped and you wanted to have a different shape, same for your nose or your eyes or whatever, you can use these techniques of highlighting and contouring to really transform any part of your face, which is why it's so amazing. It's just amazing. Contouring and highlighting is such a beautiful thing. So yeah, guys, that is basically it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope I explained it thoroughly enough for you and that you guys get the overall concept. Again, this is Makeup 101, so this is a very just overall beginner's perspective on contouring and highlighting. If you did love this video, don't forget to leave it a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. I absolutely love hearing from you guys and chatting with you. While you're here, don't forget to hit that big subscribe button as well as turn on that notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. And yeah, guys, that is it for this one. As always, if there's anything you want to see from me, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next one.